Do you have some 12 by 12 pattern paper that you'd like to get turned into cards? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I have 12 by 12 paper busting template number 46 for A2 cards. It shows you how to make 6 A2 cards with one sheet of 12 by 12 pattern paper and no pattern paper scraps. It can be adjusted to whatever occasion you would like, but I'm going to be making Valentine cards today. And I will say the measurements really clearly, but this is available as a printable in the Etsy shop, and there are many other 12 by 12 templates available for free at jesscrafts.com. But we're going to start with the 12 by 12 piece of paper. I've already cut the branding strip off. Please follow all manufacturer safety instructions when working with tools like paper trimmers. And it is a heart and soul paper from Reminisce. I'm going to start by cutting 4 by 12 inch strips from the patterned paper. So taking that 12 inches and measuring it to 8 and then 4. And now this 4 by 12 inch piece will become a 4 by 6 inch piece. And that divides evenly into a 12 by 12 paper of 6. So you'll see that in other of my sketches. Okay, and then each of these 4 by 6 pieces, so I'm going to do the same thing repeatedly. I'm going to take the 4 by 6 piece and I'm going to cut it in half again to 4 by 3 inches. Then the final step is to take each of these and cut an inch off. In the template, I show it as cutting an inch off of opposite sides, and that's just because that's where they're gonna lay on the final card. So if for some reason you wanna maintain the flow of the pattern, this does work with directional patterned paper, which my hearts kind of are, because all the hearts are kind of facing the top, but the back side is not. But I just did want to point that out. I do try to keep that in mind. So I cut 1 inch off the side there, and I'll cut 1 inch off the side here. And so we'll repeat that process on each of these pieces of pattern paper, cutting them down to 4 by 6, then 4 by 3, and then cutting an inch off of each of those. My next step will be to cut some mats for these. Since they are 3 by 3 inches and 3 by 1 inches, I'm going to make 1/4 inch larger mats and need 3 1/4 inch mats. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 for the 3 inch squares, and 3 1/4 by 1 1/4 for the 3 by 1 inch strips. So I cut this to 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. I will measure it to 6 1/2. There actually might be a more efficient way of using the cardstock. I have not worked out the measurements. That's not something that I typically do as part of my process. So I got 2 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 and 3 1/4 by 1 inch. I can repeat that. I can calculate how much I will need in all because I'm making 6 cards and each card needs 2 of each mat. So that means in the end I will need 12 of the square mats and 12 of the 3 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch mats. So I can keep cutting my cardstock until I reach that amount. I will visit my scraps as needed. That's kind of a silly way of saying that, but I will go to my scraps to cut some pieces if that helps. And then these pieces here that are left over, I don't see myself needing these as mats on a future card, although very occasionally I will have it. I mean, what are these? 1/2 inch or 3/4? Yeah, every once in a while I'll use a 1/2 inch piece on a card, but what I will probably do is just glue these together, and then I will use that to pop up elements later on my card base, or sorry, on my cards. So I will glue those together and let that dry and have that to work with later. When I go to assemble the cards, I did decide that at least on some of those 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch squares, I am going to cut a scallop circle out. I'm not going to use it on a card today, but I am using a scallop circle in a different color on the card today, so it can be nice to have some of these on hand, especially I'm thinking it's pink. I'm still making Valentine cards, so I might be happy I have these on another occasion, and then that way it's a little bit more of an economical use of the patterned paper. So, but I will often, as if you've watched my channel before, I will use the cardstock that I'm using for my mats as another element on the card and try to die cut things out of the center of them if I can. Okay, and so then we are ready to add some adhesive to the back of these squares and assemble our card. So now it's time to assemble the card according to the sketch, and the bottom left-hand corner gets placed down first, then the bottom right, or sorry, the top right. I did have to pull these off of my card base because I made a little mistake. But we're working with it. So that's why there's like that random scrap of paper there. And then we're going to place one of the papers in the top left and then the final paper in the bottom right. So you'll want to think about how you want to mix and match your patterns. You could work with single-sided paper. I do think there's a variety of ways this will look good in terms of like how you place the patterns. This one here in the bottom corner though, it is kind of bumped up on top of several other pieces, so it might have a little bit of trouble sticking to the corner. If you find that because your cardstock's thick or something like that, you can always add a scrap of cardstock underneath to help it kind of even it out. But most of it is on its own layer, so it will probably stick well. And then we are ready to embellish the card. Now that I'm thinking about it, I had chosen to do red circles, and I think that was because I wanted it to stand out a bit more on the heart paper, but I think the pink actually would have worked just fine on both of them and might have even stood out a little bit better on this red background. But I did actually stamp all of these ahead of time. I stamped the sentiment, "Have a Mice Valentine's Day" from the Lawn Fawn Valentine Mice stamp set in VersaFine ink and let it dry overnight. It doesn't need that long to dry, but it is a pigment ink, so it does take a little longer to dry. But it has a really crisp impression, so it's great for these smaller sentiments that you want to stay really readable and look like really prominent on the card. Okay, and then I also picked the mouse with the card, and I did some really simple Copic coloring. I will list my Copic markers in the video description, but I basically just picked some areas of shadow and then blended it out to add a little bit of interest. Nothing particularly special with the Copic coloring there, and I stamped it on Neenah Solar White in the Lawn Fawn Copic Safe ink. And when I received this in the mail, I had ordered it, personally, but I was like, I'm kind of surprised that I picked it because this little mouse looks like he's blowing kisses, and this little mouse is holding an XOXO, which is not necessarily a sentiment I use a lot. I do think I really loved this mouse when it was the first one that I used, but I think I was thinking you could mask off the XOXO. I did this with another Lawn Fawn set where there was a mouse in a pumpkin, but it was a jack-o'-lantern and I wanted to just look like a pumpkin, so I masked it off. And so you can sometimes use stamps like that. So I still think the mouse carrying the heart would be cute. I would probably just take off the sentiment and maybe add a different one or just leave it blank. But today I was using the mouse with the envelope, and so I mentioned I made some fake foam tape earlier by gluing scraps of cardstock together, so I will use that to pop up the mouse and then adhere the circle here in the bottom right-hand corner, and that will be it for my card today. Here's a look at the 6 completed cards for 12 by 12 paper busting template number 46. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.